Hi, welcome to the Golf Fit gym down at the beautiful Renaissance Club here in East Lothian. Got a lovely course out there, a purpose-built gym for golfers in here. How cool is that? So in our last episode we had Ollie, Vikki and Lewis go through the screens, and we found that all of them had some compensations in their movement patterns. If you haven't seen that episode already, I recommend you go back and watch that because it's going to have a big impact on what we're going to do today. We're going to design a movement correction workout or exercises that are going to go through their whole program to help them make improvements as they gain in strength and speed and power. Think of it like this. If we were going to build a house and we want it to be the biggest and best house we can, we need really solid foundations. So let's go and build that house. So first up we have the movement corrections for Ollie's squat pattern. So let's just take a quick look at Ollie from the first episode, and we can see just a little bit of wobble there front to back. The bar tends to get in front of him a little bit. Just maybe gets about parallel, just below, but he starts to lose his balance as he does that. So front to back, it definitely gets a little bit of wobble. So this mobilization drill here is called prone half starfish. So Ollie's lying on his front. He's trying to keep his chest flat on the ground, and without tipping through his spine too much, he's trying to lift that knee, that left knee up towards his left elbow. This is going to give him a lot more external rotation, open up his hips a lot. A little bit of immobility there makes it difficult for him to really sit into his hips, sit into his glutes, and keep himself stable in the squat. This is a mobility drill for both sides now. So if you've got quite a symmetrical squat, but you still struggle to open up your knees enough to give yourself room to squat, this is a great drill. So Ollie there, you can see him extend through his head and T-spine, so that's the upper part of his back, or the part of his back that corresponds with his rib cage. So he's going to move into extension there with his hips. You should feel this on the inside of your thighs. Some people find this is quite tight. A lot of golfers get tight in their adductors, the inside of the thighs, and he's moving, rocking back through that pelvis position, just kind of flossing that position there, trying to get a bit more range with his knees out in that external position as he sits down into it, and then going through into the more static stretch as he extends his T-spine, thoracic spine again. Really good one, this. He'll be squeezing his glutes there as his feet are together. He also squeezes his glutes to get a bit more activation with his glutes. Now, once we've done any mobilizations, we're then going to reinforce. Ollie's got a med ball here to counterbalance himself. That means he's not got that front to back wobble anymore. He feels a little bit more stable in the testers when he drops the ball. So Ollie's just getting told there just to sit a little bit more into his hips. You'll see this time using that ball well in front of him. That's going to allow him to feel like he can sit back a little bit more. So watch, you see he really wants to bend those knees. We're hoping, yeah, just gradually his hips start to go back more and more. There we go, he's very upright, head's in line, much better angles. You can see his chest tips forward a little bit, but that's okay. We've got those parallel lines with his T-spine, his spine and his shin, so it's good. We're moving on to Vikki. So Vikki's asymmetry or imbalance wasn't so much front to back, it's side to side, and very much on her right side. You can see her right knee doesn't move out as much, and her right ankle kind of drops in a little bit. So we can see this as she goes through this dorsiflexion test. It's a good test to do if you feel like your ankles are tight. You can see when she does it on her right side, that right knee starts to move in and across rather than just straight along her toe line. So if that happens to you, then we need you to get that more in line with your feet. So here she's showing a good example of how to use cardio equipment. My favourite use for cardio equipment, especially stationary bikes. So she's working on a static stretch here to try and get some more external rotation in that hip, balance out. And you can also do this seated. More use of gym equipment. This exercise here we have Vikki working on eccentric action, or that's the loading phase of her ankles here. So she's going up onto the balls of her feet. Importance, the balls of her foot, not her toes. So she's actually lifting her big toe up, she raises up, using the wall for a little bit of support onto the ball of her foot. The band's there for an assistance. You don't need the band. Those ring bands are really good for keeping your ankles turned out so that you're going to recruit your glutes a little bit more and really work the front of your shins. So that's going to help, particularly with, you can see that right ankle is the one that really the right heel wants to come in. If the right heel can stay out a little bit more, that means we're going to have more grip of the ground with her foot in her squat. A lot of golfers who see their right heel coming off the ground early, they don't stay in contact with the ground, you hear that quite a lot. Keep your right heel on the ground, keep your right heel on the ground. If that's happening to you, it could just be because you struggle with this movement in your golf swing. You struggle to get external rotation, get that traction in the ground and really twist out. So we've got 2 reinforcements for Vikki here. We've got, this is her strengthening her glutes. Your glutes are your butt muscles if you don't know where they are. So she's doing a single leg bridge here. Because it's a single leg bridge, you will see that although Vikki is very good at getting high in her bridge, so her glutes are strong, the lateral portion of her glutes aren't quite as strong. So we can kind of see from this camera angle, especially on this right side, her left hip starts to drop. She's compensating with her left leg, lifting up a little bit. Her left hip definitely starts to drop, and you can see that on the belt line of her trousers. So she's working hard against that. She knows that's there. She's got her foot turned out as well, just to work on that external rotation, trying to keep the hips as square as she can. Here we have what the squat looked like at the start of the session. I've got the pole down there just so you can see how much she really sits into that right side. And you'll be able to see as well, now that we've got this squat at the end of the session, how much more balanced she is. So she's not sitting into this right hip as much as she was at the start. That's more neutral. I've given her the Swiss ball in this case, just for the same reason as Ollie, just to try and keep a bit more extension through his spine there. So we talked about thoracic area, that area of your rib cage. A lot of people find it difficult not to round their spine in the squat. So she's really squeezing that Swiss ball above her head, trying to keep it back. You can see her head just tips forward at the end, but we're much more neutral now. Our right ankle is working a little better, our right hip especially is working a little better, and that's what we're targeting. So we've got that. The barefoot thing as well. This is a good idea if you struggle with getting a grip of the ground, any feeling like your feet are staying stable on the ground, go barefoot. Practice some squats where you can get a good grip of the surface. Lewis. Now, we're coming to Lewis. His squat was the best we've seen in test week, so a bit harder to see any imbalances, but if you watch his belt line, so watch the top of his shorts, just at the bottom we see a little bit of what we call pelvic tilt posterior, pelvic tilt, or butt wink, some people call this. So we're going to work on some stabilization for Lewis to try and get him a little bit more stable at the base of his spine as he squats. So this is called a panther walk. This is one of our favourite drills in the gym. So Lewis is doing a panther walk where he's working reciprocally. He's got his opposite arm and leg, walking him down the track here, and the whole time he's basically in a squat. He's basically it looks like a crawling position, but if you tipped him up onto his feet, he'd be in a squat posture. You can see that really well from the side there. So he's in the bottom of the squat. He's keeping his arms or his hands just in front of his shoulders, and he's really working hard to extend through his spine. So he's focusing really hard on not rounding that pelvis and on keeping a lot of extension coming through his upper back again, trying to use that, make sure his core's engaged, make sure his abs are engaged so that he doesn't round the base of his spine. And his reinforcement, so with all of these you've seen that we've went through, we've had the mobility exercises and then we've had a reinforcement. So it's really important. If you do any stretching, you do any mobilization, you do any release techniques, don't just walk away after that, you've got to reinforce it. So we're now going to add some strength to that pattern. So what Lewis is doing here is he's doing a low bar squat. So instead of a normal back squat, you'll see this with the camera angle, the bar is slightly further down towards his shoulder blades. Now that makes his hips sit further back, loads up his glutes a little bit more, and it's a little bit easier for him there to keep a stable pelvis. Much better. So now that you've seen some of the techniques we can use to correct those movement patterns, it's important to say that we won't always correct every imbalance that we see. These golfers are full-time golfers. The compensations that some of them make make them the elite athletes that they are. Without those, they wouldn't be as good players. So we've got to be careful what we correct and what we don't correct. With that said, we want everybody to be as balanced and as efficient as they can be, so that we can make as many improvements as we can. Now we have these exercises, we can use them in several different ways. We can have an entirely different workout where we do it as a movement correction workout on a standalone day, maybe as a rest day, maybe the day they're playing golf before or after a round. It's fairly low intensity. We can use them as a warm-up, which will really get their motor control prep for whatever exercise they're going to do later that day. We can also use them as fillers to the same point, where we're going to use them just before an exercise or after an exercise to make sure they're doing that properly and to use their movement correction. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and tune in for the next episode.